Greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen, to Let's Play Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. I'm ExoParadigmGamer. Last episode we did some backtracking and found some stuff that we couldn't before, and in this episode we are going to be heading off to the Torva's Bog to go to the next temple so that we can continue with the game. I think these are new. Yes, they are. They're sort of like, I can't remember what they were called in Prime 1, but they're pretty much the same thing, except there's no wave beam in this game, so you don't have to use that on them. The Luminoth designed the Harmony units to be free-roaming, independent cleaning units. They use focused energy beams and kinetic pulses to perform their duties. Unfortunately, they now consider all living things as filth that must be cleansed from the world. And that's interesting. I mean, that's actually a theme that Prime 3 plays with quite a bit, is, there's one world that's actually populated almost entirely by machines, and you find out that those machines were actually sentient and that the space pirates destroyed them and basically committed genocide against them, and it's actually really fascinating. Yes, I will do a Prime 3 playthrough eventually, and actually maybe relatively soon after this, depending on how I feel. I don't know, do you guys want to see this? Want to see a Prime 3 playthrough relatively soon after the Prime 2 playthrough? I mean, of course I'd do the reviews first. I owe you guys some Sonic reviews, and those will be happening first. But who knows? If this playthrough has been received a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought it would be just sort of like, oh cool, you're doing that, nice. Yeah, I can't even go that way, so that way actually leads back to our ship. Okay, so we're gonna head off to whoa. Yeah, I already got the sand bats. Splash damage ahoy. Now, yeah, so this is where we got something of a puzzle coming up here. Actually, I wonder. I'll save that for later. I'm trying to. I did do a practice playthrough, but it's in some ways the way that the level design is laid out, it's very in Metroid Prime 2, it's very much modular, but that also can make it a little tougher to remember what order that you need to do certain things. But yeah, there's a green door there anyway. I can't go because this game has an equivalent basically to the Artifact Temple for Metroid Prime 1, and I want to go there as soon as I can so that I can sort of set up that sort of meta side quest. One thing I should mention right now is that as you can see, since we've gotten the dark suit, our health depletes so much slower than it used to. Before it was just like you step out and then it's just like, oh shit, I've lost an energy tank in 30 seconds. Now it goes relatively slowly, and in that first section of the game where the dark ether the atmosphere is really overpowering, that's kind of the part of the game where I can understand why people don't like dark ether in Metroid Prime 2. But after you get the dark suit, it's really not that bad, at all. And the majority of the game you have the dark suit, so and it's really only a few sections in Agon Wastes, and it's from here on out where they start to play with the dual world mechanic a little more. I mean, it's not like they weren't using it before, but at this point it's just okay, you have the dark suit, you can survive now. You understand what the sort of gameplay element is like. Now we're going to have you traveling around Dark Ether a lot more and actually fighting bosses out in the open in some parts. I mean, Dark Ether, it's really not that bad, and maybe it's a little cliched and tacky to some people, but I actually kind of like the dark light motif that Retro Studios played around with in this game. Yeah, these are night barbs. I've already scanned them. Trying to make sure I don't miss nothing. And it would be really sad to me if I were to find out that because like there's part of me that's fearing that because I didn't scan all the Federation lore when it was first there, that there's something I missed that I can never get again. But maybe that's unfounded. As far as I know, the only game that has that is like the initial North American release of Metroid Prime 1 on GameCube, with that one Shriekbat species that like disappears after you get the plasma beam or something like that, or the wave. It might have been the wave beam. Point is, I don't think that is something that we will be encountering in Prime 2. So now that we've done that, we are on the now that we've done that little dark ether section, we're on the other side of the super missile door, and we can proceed with the game. See, we've got dark pirates. Let's, yeah, charge shot seems to take him out almost instantly. Well, provided that you charge it up all the way. I think no matter what, I think I've never been sure about this, but the longer you charge up your charge shots, the more damage they do. But either way, if you're using a dark or light ammo, it uses up 5 ammo regardless of how much you've charged it up. So this goes there, and this gets, yeah, pushed back into the side, I think. What is that? Is that a regular pirate? Oh, this is actually, I never knew these enemies existed. Okay. So the space parts have begun to use an experimental energy grenade launcher in the field. The weapon is viewed as a mixed blessing to the grenadier units. While the grenade launchers are powerful weapons, grenadiers must leave their rifles behind to carry them. Fast-moving targets can close range of grenadiers, rendering their main weapon somewhat ineffective. Now that would probably explain why there were pirate grenadiers in this game. Like, holy shit, I have played this game so many times that I have never seen those enemies before. They must only be in this room, because I always just assumed they were regular light pirates. I don't know what to say, folks. I'm embarrassed about this particular situation. Okay, and we can open this door because we have the Amber hologram. Beyond, a verdant land ravaged by a great deluge and the folly of battle. We honor the life that remains. That's something interesting that we'll actually be finding more about in the lore, and it actually might be in the lore that's right down here. Assuming that it's purple. Yes, it's purple. Yeah, we'll be opening that shortcut soon enough. So, in time, the roar of a wounded planet subsided. The air, though fouled, was breathable. Light made its way through the dark veil over our world. Slowly, we ventured out from the shelters of our homes to see what remained of our paradise. What little comfort we gained by surviving was soon shattered, for when we looked outward, all we saw was devastation. Half the planet's energy had vanished from the energy controllers. Ether became violently unstable as a result. Of the stellar object which struck our home, there was no sign. So basically, when the Phazon meteorite hit, and we've sort of gone over this before, when the Phazon meteorite hit Ether, it divided and we sort of saw that from that gate we just opened up there. Believe it or not, the Aegon Wastes used to be a very fertile plain of some kind, and this place that we're about to come up to, the Torvis Bog, was actually a forest. And basically what happened is when that meteorite hit, it basically completely changed Ether's ecosystem. And that's actually really fascinating to me, that these, basically these desolate, destroyed landscapes that have actually kind of recovered somewhat into a new ecosystem. Shows the adaptive nature of nature. But like people are always like, oh, the atmosphere and environments in Metroid Prime 2 are so depressing and uninteresting, and it's just like, when you read the lore and find out why that is, there's a very good reason for it, and it actually thematically is rather interesting. I mean, like, I'm not necessarily going to say that from an art direction perspective, like swamps and deserts, are, as visually interesting maybe as some of the areas from Prime 1, but I don't know, I think that maybe people are being a little unfair to this game. Metroid Prime 1 kind of stole everything. So when they made this game, it's just like, what were they supposed to include in it without it seeming redundant? I mean, Metroid Prime 3 kind of gets around it by sort of combining some of the standard level archetypes together, and it actually has multiple planets, and it does... I don't know, I guess when it comes to Metroid, I find what's more important than, like, whether the areas are, like, I think these guys are weak to dark beam. Yes, they are. Once again, the dark beam is not useless. Okay, one thing at a time. Let's scan this guy. That's Delai's testament. They came to the lagoon in the night, delivering 2 death blows before I could detect them. As my life faded, I sent a call to the caterer to warn of this surprise attack. May they find my key and dispatch the Ing who killed me. Only then will my final rest be peaceful. Damn. So, I think we want to go down here. When it comes to Metroid, I find what's more important than, like, level archetypes and, whether those are interesting is how well designed the areas are. And I feel that that's something that, is pretty solid in Prime 2. Even compared to Prime 1. But anyway, this is the Hideling. Hidelings are small water dwellers. They travel in packs for safety, roaming the water in search of bits of food. Their only defense is a bite, though their small teeth are sharp enough to pierce metal. Yeah, these guys are no threat. And they actually make farming for pickups really easy. And I'd just like to note one detail about the water we're going through right now. Note that it sort of clouds up your visor. And there was a similar thing in Prime 1, but just keep that in mind for later. Like, that's one thing that Retro Studios did really well with their Metroid games, was their attention to detail. And I mean, like, the game's only in 480p, but it looks very impressive for its time, very much at the forefront of the... Oh, these guys, can I scan them? Can I scan them? Yes, I can. Okay. Scan them. Okay. A cousin to the Shredder, the Shrieker waits for prey half buried in the earth. When it detects a target, it erupts from the ground and takes flight. It releases a sonic blast to stun its target, then sweeps in to feast. Shriekers can generate a stealth field that disrupts most visors, making them difficult to attack. So basically what these guys do is they'll turn invisible and reappear and disappear, and it's really annoying until you get a certain upgrade later in the game. So for now, just probably best to just ignore them and just run past. Because you can do that for most of the enemies in this game. If you don't want to fight them, you don't have to. It's just... There is one particular specimen enemy that very much reminds me of Chozo Ghosts. And you guys know how much I love Chozo Ghosts if you watched my Prime 1 playthrough. But we won't be seeing them for a little while. And well, we will be seeing them in this area for sure, but not for a while. So these guys are sort of the genetic cousins to the guys we just saw. The Shredder spends most of its life in the earth. When agitated, it will spring from the ground, then begin to fly towards its foe. Should it reach its target, the Shredder will explode with considerable force, releasing a cloud of thorns as it does. Whew. Shredders are resilient, but can be eliminated with concentrated weapons fire. So yeah, use missiles are the weakness. That's usually what concentrated weapons fire means. Those things in the ceilings that look like acorns are actually Luminoth storage units, believe it or not. I don't know, maybe I'll scan them next time we see them, but in this room we are introduced to some of my least favorite enemies in this game, the Grunchlers. Now, before my practice playthrough, I never thought to try the Dark Beam. And once I did, these guys become a hell of a lot less annoying, but... So basically what you want to do... They're sort of like the baby Sheegoths from the first game, except the target... What you want to... I should probably scan them, actually, before I forget. The amphibious Grunchler lurks in marsh areas in search of prey. Fearless, it will spring from hiding and attack anything that moves. If it is unable to fell its prey with its powerful jaws, it will fire a potent burst of energy at them. Grunchlers have one weak spot. A genetic defect makes the shell on their back susceptible to explosive blasts. Remove the shell to expose a vulnerable nerve center, then target it to eliminate the creature. And as I've already sort of shown how to fight, yeah, they have lasers. Lasers! Now, see, like, if you use the Dark Beam, these things are really easy, because... I mean, like, really, the only reason you would want to use charged Dark Beam shots is, sort of the one... Oh, I thought it did. I thought it died. I thought it did. Now it's dead. See, like, before, in my first few playthroughs of this game, I never really tried using the dark beam all that much, because like it was obvious to me like, oh, if I seen Ing use the light beam, but for some reason my mind, my inner consciousness never really spoke to me on like the utility of the dark beam until like some future playthroughs where it was just like, I wonder how useful this is on this enemy, and then I tried using it, and lo and behold, the dark beam is actually really effective against light world enemies. And the Grunchler is one of them, because like it used to be like, until you got the super missile, that it was really annoying to take care of them. And even then, it was still annoying because, if you miss something with the super missile, you gotta charge up your shot and to fire another one. You can't just, and the rate of fire is a little slower, so if you can just fucking shoot it with the dark beam and have it die so much quicker, then, like that's a much more effective strategy. So as you can probably guess, we're going to be going back to the dark world in this little room. But I think I'm going to save that for next time, because it's been about 15 minutes. So join me next time on Let's Play Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. We're going to go through that portal, continue to explore the Torva's Bog. We'll probably make it to the temple and actually uncover a very useful ability in the next part. So I'll see you guys then.